gentlemen, my name is
Howard J. Dingers. And this is 3 Count Review.
Welcome everyone to Smackdown Live.
Smackdown Live Edition. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 3 Count Review presented by First Round KO. Welcome to the Smackdown Live Edition. My name is KO, aka Howard J. Dingers. And today, in studio, joined with me, no one, just me in the studio today. I might possibly have a guest coming late. A couple of people told me they might be showing up. No responses. So, I don't know. We might get a guest halfway through the show, partway through the show. We'll see how things roll. But we have an interesting episode of SmackDown to get through. First of all, I apologize for not having a SmackDown episode last week. I was at a concert seeing, I can't say the full name of the band, but seeing NSP in concert in Madison. So that was super fun. So I apologize for missing. And of course, the timing was terrible of last week being SmackDown Live. Or SmackDown 1000. So terrible timing with that. Overall thoughts on my SmackDown 1000 was it was awesome. It was just too much jam-packed into 2 hours. It would have been nice to see it extended to 3 hours just for 1000, so that they could fit in all this stuff. And a lot of the stuff that happened, the GM segment was unnecessary. Like, it was cool to see them, but it was very unnecessary because they weren't really doing anything. Like, if what they could have done is they could have had a segment where all 3 of them, or all 4 of them, made the Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Usos tag match. Or, like the Crown Jewel World Cup qualifying matches, too short. Like, every segment except for the Edge, the Cutting Edge segment, and the Evolution segment. All of those segments were except for those 2, all of the other segments were too short. They tried to fit in too much. So from that standpoint, it wasn't great, but it was a fun episode. These nostalgia episodes are always super fun, and it was good to see Edge. Edge is amazing. He's still really good at promos and everything. Batista was actually surprisingly good. I love that they're setting up him versus Triple H. And his line about Ric Flair was really good. Like I said, it was really cool to see all the other GMs. Undertaker was very unnecessary. He didn't have to come out. It was really great seeing Ray back, and I'm glad that he's back. I don't know if it's full-time, but just seeing him back in the WWE is really cool. He had a really good match. The chemistry was off with Nakamura, but that's okay. They both still looked good in their own rights. And I was excited because they were furthering Aiden versus Rusev. But now, after we see tonight, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And, man, what else? Seeing all the McMahons was cool, and then doing the dance break, which was really funny because apparently Vince really likes those dance breaks. So seeing him involved with one was really funny. I don't know. It was interesting. I really loved the Big Show heel turn because it was kind of like a playful Big Show always turns heel, or always turns heel or face. Every other week, so let's do it on the 1000th episode. It was just kind of silly and funny, and it adds a new element to the Bar versus the New Day, which we desperately needed, because it was basically just kind of like, here's a feud, enjoy. But now they've added a new element to it, so I'm going to talk all about all of this stuff. But yeah, those are my thoughts on SmackDown 1000. Fun, but it wasn't a great episode of SmackDown. Because Raw 1000 actually furthered storylines. Like, they set up the WrestleMania match. They set it, the CM Punk heel turn was huge. All this stuff. They had the Money in the Bank cash in. They had all the, there's so many big things that happened. And nothing of substance really happened here. The title change, the tag titles felt like a tag title change just to have a title change on the show. I don't know. Like I said, it was very fun, like the nostalgia shows always are. but not a great episode of SmackDown. So let's dive into last night's episode of SmackDown. We opened up the show with the New Day in ring, and let's see what happened. The New Day, Kofi basically cut a segment saying how he was confused. The whole New Day were confused why Big Show was part of the bar. Like, they understood bringing someone in, but they were like, but why? Why the Big Show? They couldn't understand why Big Show. Big E said that they thought Big Show was cool, but Big Show flops back and forth more than a flapjack, staying on the pancake theme. And Kingston says he wants all the smoke. Kingston wants Big Show or either member of the bar in the ring tonight. And the bar come out, all three members of the bar. I'm assuming the Big Show is technically part of the, I don't know. And the bar joined the New Day in the ring, and Big Show stays on the outside for a little bit. But then they play these little mind games where, like, Sheamus walks in the ring first. And he's like, I'll face you. And then he leaves, and Cesaro walks in, and I'll face you. And then, just kidding, have the Giant. And Big Show comes in the ring, and it's Big Show versus Kofi Kingston. And as soon as the bell rings, Kofi tries to get on the attack early with a drop kick, but the dominant Giant chops Kofi into the corner and chops him into the corner again, tosses Kofi clear across the ring. Big Show destroys Kofi with a choke slam, and then hits another choke slam, and then another choke slam, and then he goes for a fourth choke slam. But Big E and Woods come in the ring because they think Big Show is going too far, and the bar run into the ring and I guess caused the disqualification. I don't know. Woods, I thought it was announced no disqualification. This website I'm looking at says winner is Big Show. I don't know. It was basically no contest. And after the match, the bar and the Big Show got the upper hand and destroyed New Day, basically just laying waste to the former tag team champions. So, and that match, I don't know when it was exactly announced, but they are having a tag title match at Crown Jewel, assuming Crown Jewel goes on. The bar defending against the New Day. I liked this segment only because it introduces, or it furthers the Big Show thing. Like, Big Show's just like, I'm the heavy, like, I'm here to even the odds. And even Corey Graves was putting it over on commentary very well, saying they're just evening the odds. Like, the New Day have three people, so the bar just making it even, making it right in the world, even though they're the heels. It's an interesting story. I shouldn't say weird. It's an interesting storyline, and I like the way that they're playing with it. So, next we had a rematch of last week's SmackDown 1000. We had the Usos versus AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan again. This was because last week, Daniel hit AJ with a move. Yeah, Daniel hit AJ accidentally with a move, and that caused the team to lose. This week, after another good match, last week's match was good, this week's match was good. All four members are awesome. After another good match, Styles eventually gets the hot tag. Oh, no, wait, that's earlier in the match. Styles almost accidentally hits Bryan with the phenomenal forearm. Then Styles turns his focus to Jay. Styles tries to Pele kick Jay, who is being held by Bryan, but Jay ducks it. Bryan gets hit with the Pele kick. Jimmy and Jay hit the super kick, superfly splash combo for the win. Usos beat AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan for the second week in a row. And people dislike this a lot because it's having the two people in your championship match lose twice in 2 weeks. But I like it because, especially nowadays, we see in the WWE, wins and losses aren't that big of a deal anymore. It's more about storyline, and this just furthered the storyline, especially because backstage we have Styles saying this week was an accident, just like, Daniel's was an accident last week. And Daniel goes, yeah, I know mine was an accident. And then he continues to call Styles Pinocchio, extending his finger from his nose, insinuating his nose is growing because he's lying. And then Styles goes, wait, what are you doing there? And he transforms the finger into the 2-sweet. He goes, this is how you do it, right? Great stuff. But yeah, like I was saying, this furthers storyline. So the loss doesn't necessarily matter as far as AJ and Brian go. But what the win and loss does matter to is the Usos. The Usos are outside of the tag title picture right now, which is fine. They should be. But they're continued as a credible force in the tag team because they have beaten AJ and Brian twice in a row now. So that I really like what happens here. I know a lot of people don't like when the champion and the competitor lose, especially twice in a row. I can see that argument, but losses don't really matter in the WWE, especially if it's a singles match and they lose in a tag team match. Not a big deal. Then we had footage of the Becky Lynch and Charlotte attack during a lecture at the Performance Center. Charlotte was at the Performance Center talking to the Mae Young Classic competitors, saying how, just explaining the evolution and how it's super cool that she's a part of it and that she gets to talk to them, blah, 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 giving them advice. And then Becky shows up and says, you guys should be asking questions from the actual champ. The champ should be telling you what to do. And she says that, what did she say? She said you shouldn't make any friends because they'll just stab you in the back. They'll take opportunities from you and all this stuff, basically just furthering the Becky and Charlotte storyline. And that was really good. So something that was pointed out to me, this feud has been really good because every week it's something different. It's not just a tag match and then another tag match where the exact same thing happens. AJ, Brian. But this is something different every week. It feels fresh. It feels creative. And I really enjoy that. The only problem I had with this was the only stuff we saw from the champion, Becky Lynch, on the go-home show for Evolution was in this video from the Performance Center, which happened a couple days ago. So, and then the only thing we saw from Charlotte was her responding to this video in a backstage pre-recorded, just promo on the screen. So that to me, and I saw this throughout Raw, and I saw this throughout SmackDown. It's just the theme that you can tell. WWE they don't care about Evolution. WWE they're purely doing Evolution as a publicity stunt and as a way to try to make it up to the women wrestlers who can't go to Saudi Arabia, who can't go to Crown Jewel, couldn't go to the Greatest Royal Rumble. They're simply doing it as a PR, be like, yeah, we're going to Saudi Arabia and we're making all this money, but look at this women's Evolution. And it's shown in these storylines because, like I did say that it's creative and it's a really good program, but they're not putting as much effort into this stuff as we'll see in one of the next segments too. They're not putting as much effort into this pay-per-view as they would any other pay-per-view. They're equally building, I shouldn't even say equally, they're more building to Crown Jewel, which is next week, than they are to Evolution. Not having your champion on the go-home show is not a good look for WWE. And like I said, it shows how much they don't actually care about these storylines. They see the women's division as a gimmick, and that's all it is to them. Next, we had Rusev versus Aiden English. Now, I have a legitimate gripe with this. This was one of the best feuds, not only on SmackDown, but this was one of the best feuds and stories in WWE, on the main roster, I should say, because the whole thing with Aiden finally turning on Rusev, having the one night in Milwaukee thing, that was super entertaining, telling the story that this is all Lana's fault and he still loves Rusev, he still wants to be a part of Rusev Day, but he needs to get rid of Lana. Lana's the problem here. And last week, like I said before, they continued the storyline really well. They had English cost Rusev his World Cup match, his qualifying match to The Miz. But then this week it's just, okay, Rusev gets his hands on Aiden. And I saw this when match was going to happen. I thought Aiden was going to get out of it some way, or it was going to be DQ, or Aiden cheats to win, something. But no. Literally, what happened, Aiden got the upper hand at one point. Lana threw her shoe at English, and then Rusev hits the Machka kick. Rusev puts English in the accolade. English tapped out. And that's it. Like, Rusev, the babyface in the story. Rusev got his comeuppance. Or not. Aiden got his comeuppance. Rusev got the better of the heel, using his accolade, making him tap out. In most storylines, that's the end of the feud. I don't know what else they can do. I saw someone say you could have Aiden be the mouthpiece for someone else and have them go after Rusev. That could be an interesting storyline. But this feud really this kills the feud unless they're really able to revamp it next week. To me, this feels like the end of the feud, and that's just sad. It's really sad because this feud was amazing. Both of these guys are amazing, and they did months and months of building to this. And if this is how it ends, then shame on SmackDown and shame on the writers, because this was not good. Next, we had Miz TV, and Miz welcomes the crowd to the show. He runs down the highlights from SmackDown 1000 and saying that the most important thing that happened last week was Miz beating Rusev in record time, he says, to qualify for the World Cup. So I'm glad Miz played off of the fact that they had time constraints. That was really good. Miz introduces his guest, Rey Mysterio, and he says that he's curious as why Mysterio is back. He knows why Mysterio is back, because Mysterio wants to prove that the little man can still do anything that they can dream of. But Miz says that no one cares about the plucky underdog anymore. People are only interested in larger-than-life characters like himself, like The Miz. Miz says while Mysterio has been on hiatus, Miz has been doing it all here in the WWE, and at Crown Jewel, Miz is going to prove what he already knows, that he is the best in the world. And Miz tells Mysterio, sorry to disappoint. No one cares about the underdog anymore. And Mysterio says, you know what, Miz, you're right. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed that I'm not on Truth TV. Great line. Mysterio says that he didn't come back to be on a dusty talk show. Mysterio is here to compete, and Mysterio challenges Miz to a match right here, right now. Miz says no one on here wants to see the two of them fight, and Miz tells the universe that he is a changed man. But then Miz attacks Mysterio because he's not a changed man, and Mysterio trips Miz into the ropes, sets him up for the 619. Miz avoids and rolls out of the ring. This brings us to a commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, and during the commercial break, apparently Paige made this match official. So we get Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. Before we get into the match, really fun segment. Miz is a fantastic heel. He's able to create a lot of storylines out of nothing, i.e. the record-breaking match against Rusev, good stuff. And Mysterio's just really good babyface. He didn't say a lot, but he doesn't need to, especially with The Miz. Miz can be the heel carrying a promo like that. So I really like this. And this match, playing off of that, this match was really good because, like I said, Miz is a really good, he's really good promo heel, but he's really good heel in the ring. And Rey is a really good face in the ring, a baby face especially. So this match ended with Mysterio turned an Alabama slam attempt by The Miz into a head scissors. Mysterio finally lands the 619 and drops the dime for the win. A clean win over The Miz for Rey Mysterio. Fun match. Hi, Tom. I told you guys we would have a guest eventually. Come on. You're late. I'm just kidding.
Dude, I had class.
Oh, I should turn this mic on for you.
I was in class, man.
That's all right.
He goes, it's going to be an early day. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Early apparently means half.
I mean, that's early, I guess.
Early enough.
All right, so before I continue, I'll get Tom's opinion on a couple things.
I'm going to need
First of all, did you watch SmackDown 1000 last week? No.
No, I was
Did
at
you
work.
hear
No.
anything that happened?
Was Taker there? No. I
For
don't
like
know.
3 seconds.
Yeah, didn't he just show up, say rest in peace, and leave?
Yeah.
That was like the only thing I paid attention to.
Okay, that's fair. Do you know anything that happened here?
Dude, I'm a raw dude.
It's disappointing.
AJ Styles, ooh.
No, Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, I am
Miz.
aware of that.
Yes.
Wait, what about Miz?
They feud. So that's the segment I was just talking about.
Okay.
So Miz
Quality
TV.
show right now.
Miz TV. He's got his fidget spinner out.
It was in my backpack. Don't know how it got there.
Miz TV with a special guest Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
I'll explain to you what happened. I just did this segment, but I don't care because I want you to hear this too.
Ooh, I'm special.
Miz, I mean, he ran down what happened on SmackDown 1000, but he then brings out Mysterio. Miz introduces Mysterio, blah, blah, blah. Huh? Booyaka, booyaka. He says that he's curious as to why Mysterio is back. But then he interrupts Mysterio and says, just kidding, I know why you're back. You want to prove that the plucky underdog can be here and do whatever they want and do what, reach their dreams.
So just classic stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Rey Mysterio is back as Rey Mysterio, and no one is shocked.
Yes.
Okay.
But then Miz says no one cares about the plucky underdog anymore.
Oof.
He says people care about the larger than life superstars like the Miz. I thought that was really good. Miz says that at Crown Jewel he's going to prove what he already knows, that he is the best in the world. And Miz tells Mysterio that he is sorry to disappoint him because no one cares about the underdogs anymore. Mysterio says, you know what, Miz, you're right. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed that this isn't Truth TV.
Oh. Got him.
Mysterio then says...
Burn 18 years too late, but here we are.
It was great. Mysterio says that he didn't come back to be on a dusty talk show. He says that he's here to compete. And then he challenges Miz. Miz says, no.
To the show?
Huh?
Fool.
Right? Miz says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm a changed man, blah, blah, blah. And then after saying he's a changed man, he attacks Rey out of nowhere.
Whoa.
But then Mysterio flips Miz into the rope because, everyone falls on the middle rope when Rey Mysterio is involved.
Some people die.
One person. We don't need to talk about it.
I'm just saying, statistically, there's a percentage. It's risky.
And
Can't
then
curb stomp, can't 619.
Miz rolled out of the ring, and then they made the match official. And then, long story short, Mysterio beat Miz clean with the 619 and dropping the dime. Mysterio's back, and I think he's SmackDown. I think they're gonna keep him on SmackDown.
I think he's SmackDown. He's the show. Him.
He is. Yeah. So I thought that was a really entertaining thing. Are you with Mysterio being back? Does that make you want to watch SmackDown a little bit?
A little bit,
Yeah.
just because nostalgia. Right. He was on. He was a big thing when I was watching.
And he looked really good in this match.
It's not that I don't enjoy SmackDown as much. It's just that I usually work during SmackDown.
That's fair.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I really wish I could see it. And then it's just, by the time I have free time to catch up, it's like, ooh, Raw.
That's fair. All right, so moving on to the next segment and this is something you can chime in on. So, have you been watching Raw the past couple of weeks?
I caught up like this.
Yes?
Week, yeah.
Okay. So, this next match was Asuka and Naomi versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Because these four competitors are in the Women's Battle Royal.
Okay.
So, this segment was to set up the Battle Royal. So, let me explain what happened. Before the match even started, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce came out, and they talked about how they're going to win the Battle Royal. And Lana comes out. You probably can already tell what's going to happen. Lana comes out, and before she could even talk, Carmella comes out, and Carmella says what people actually want is just a dance break. So then they have a dance break.
That's fine. Women's revolution.
And then Zelina Vega appears out of nowhere, pushes Carmella into the ring, and a huge brawl breaks out between all the women.
Shocker.
Right? Because Battle Royal.
Because dancing.
And then Zelina ends up being what she thinks is the last woman standing, but Asuka comes up behind her, hits her with a spinning kick.
Asuka's gonna kill
And
you.
Asuka stands tall. No contest for the match.
Well, duh.
But it was people just throwing each other. So my question to you is, do you think WWE even cares about Evolution? Or do you think they're purely doing it as a publicity stunt because of the whole Saudi stuff?
Ooh. I didn't even consider that. See, I don't know. You watch Raw, and you go, they care about this.
Do they?
I just don't like
it
Alicia
wasn't
Fox.
It wasn't the main event of either show.
And it's this week, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The focus seems to be more on Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I was gonna say they set up a lot of matches for Crown Jewel.
The focus is on the World Cup, DX, and the titles that will be defended.
Why DX? Like I just
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only reason.
Okay.
And yeah.
I don't know. Like that's you bring up. I never
Yeah.
even consider that because I keep forgetting that it's this weekend.
Yep.
Not because like I'm disinterested, just because of how busy I am. And then I was watching and I was like, oh hey, good thing I caught up because that's this weekend.
Yeah, because both Saudi shows, the Greatest Royal Rumble and now Crown Jewel, women aren't allowed to wrestle there because women aren't allowed to compete in Saudi Arabia. So to me, Evolution was shortly announced after the Greatest Royal Rumble is a way to apologize to the women superstars who couldn't show up and a publicity, you're like, yeah, we're dealing with Saudi Arabia, and I know you guys don't like that, and we want the money. But here's Evolution! Women!
That's tough. Like, I think timing could be better. Marketing could be better.
Oh,
It's definitely
absolutely.
difficult when you're trying to set up 2 pay-per-views in, like, the same month or same few weeks.
Yes.
Span. I'll give them that. Because Evolution started off hot. A lot of momentum behind it, and then ever since it was announced, it just kind of seems like it declined.
And now there's
up,
only
and then it
7.
declined again.
There's only 7 matches, and 2 of them are the Battle Royal and a 6-man tag, which was set up
6-woman
last week.
tag.
6-woman tag. I keep saying that which was set up this week on Raw.
I
The
don't
other
know.
ones are title matches.
It's also tough because it's not WWE's fault per se that Saudi laws
Correct.
for
Some
big
people see
women-
it as their fault that they're in business with Saudi.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll agree. It was like a 10-show contract, right?
Yes.
And like they get 10 million per show.
Yep.
Yeah, that I get it.
think it
You
was
need to
more than
broaden
10
your
million.
fans.
I think it's more than 10 million.
At
Somewhere.
least-
I think it's
at
up.
least
I think
10
it's upwards of 100 million a show.
Oh my god.
I think it's $1 billion contract, if I remember correctly.
Get the money. Okay. Anyway.
Oil.
Um. Yeah, you kind of caught me off guard on that. I would. Now that you put it that way, you almost have to because you're excluding women from an entire series of shows, and you need to progress their storylines in a way. But at the same time, segregating them just kind of seems improper, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
I
then,
would space out the Saudi shows more.
yes.
Like, do every 6 months Saudi show, another 6 months Evolution. Because then you don't run into this issue of,
There you go.
hey, 2 all-male shows, women's show, but we also need to prep storylines for this show,
Exactly.
so sorry, women.
Well, because did you see Nia Jax's promo about Evolution on Raw?
I did not see that.
She literally said, Evolution is not about gender, it's about talent.
See, I don't agree with that either, because half of Evolution is older females.
That's a good point. But the other point is, it's literally branded as the first ever all women's pay-per-view. It is completely about gender. Like, obviously, it's about trying to break the norm.
though, that, like, we have talent, too.
Right, which is perfectly fine. But there again, they're not showing off the talent. They're putting all the talent in a battle royal.
Are any NXT stars up?
There's
during the show?
Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler for the title.
So just the title. Okay.
There's rumors that NXT stars will be involved in the show. My guess is probably just thrown in the battle royal.
Yeah.
Like Bianca
See,
Belair will probably be thrown
I
in there.
think they
Nikki
went the
Cross.
wrong direction with this because obviously it's exciting to have Lita and Trish back, but you got to look at primes and careers and stuff like that. And that whole segment with Alicia Fox and Lita and Trish this past Monday, I hate to say it, it looked awful.
Bad.
That's how we do things now. That's how we did it in the Attitude Era. Like, yeah, I get it. You're mixing.
The Attitude
eras
Era was
and-
terrible for women, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the opposite
They're gonna
point
win on
of
a roll-up.
Evolution. That's the opposite. Pillow fights, like the mud wrestling. That's the opposite
the
point of
swimsuit thing
Evolution.
that they did.
Exactly. That's the opposite
They
point of
literally
Evolution.
hired female wrestlers depending on how pretty they were.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Kelly's going to be there this weekend.
Oh gosh, you don't even get me started on ECW Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah.
Even Ruthless Aggression was pretty rough.
And that's the other point. They haven't put in effort. They could have made so many storylines with Asuka, Naomi, the Iconics,
Could have done
Nia
NXT
Jax.
versus main
They,
roster.
yes.
And then you still like just limit the titles. to
But
be
creative
title
was
shots.
so lazy and so focused on Crown Jewel that they said, nope, Battle Royal.
I don't know. It's hard to set up storylines with people that aren't there anymore. Obviously, you want those dream matches, and that alone can set it up. But even like the Raw Women's Championship between Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella, you could have set something up better.
That is one of the better built up ones, but that's
Yeah.
out of the two.
But even
Obviously,
then, it's
NXT is
not
its
that
own thing
good.
because NXT is really good.
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah,
I'm
Charlotte and Becky-
loosely, like,
Charlotte and
cheering
Becky has
for-
been decent, but Ronda and Nikki has it's fell flat. The best stuff has come on Twitter and Instagram from them, so that says something about creative.
Kind of cheering for Nikki.
Really?
I just still don't like Ronda's character.
Ooh, okay. That's an interesting take.
Because, like, they even commented on it on Raw this past week, where it was like, oh, yeah, it's really weird how her demeanor, like, she's really good with the crowd and kids and everything, so cheery, but once she gets in that ring.
Oh yeah, I hate that. I still hate that. I just look at Ronda as she's one of the best women performers right now. Like even her promos.
She's a great performer.
Yeah, her
I'm not
promos have been
arguing
getting
that.
better. You know who's writing her promos? Paul Heyman,
Oh,
because she's the only one she trusts writing her promos.
that's fair.
It's great, and that's why her promos have gotten better. So
hate
she's
that.
better. She's good in the ring. She's good promo. That's why I like her. I do understand the character point.
It's just pick something.
Right.
Honestly, make
Completely.
her a heel. I think she should be the heel in this situation.
She was a heel with Paul Heyman. That would be amazing. But yes, I completely agree. Although I will argue that Nikki makes a really good heel.
She does.
The Bellas make a good heel group as
I just feel like they'd be able to do the face, and Ronda would be able to do the heel character better.
Yeah.
In this kind of setup.
No, I completely agree. And
We
then
just
the
wanted
other,
to have fun and be happy. This is my yard now, kind of thing.
yeah,
But I'm not creative. Hire me. But I'm not creative.
hire us.
We
with-
won't make it too apparent that Crown Jewel is clearly what you're focusing on.
Right. So last week on SmackDown 1000, Shane McMahon returned, and apparently reports are saying, and it's basically confirmed here, that was his return to SmackDown, and he's a weekly entity now
He's been
again.
gone since
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ever since him and Daniel beat Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Didn't
and-
that like next Tuesday he decided to leave or something?
The next
Something
Tuesday,
happened.
he introduced Paige as the GM,
Yeah, that's what
and
it
then
was.
and he hasn't been on since, which is fine, which is perfect.
That's literally. I mean, Stephanie hasn't been too apparent either. So
Exactly, and it's been great.
let the GMs handle stuff.
But now Shane's back. He's a weekly thing again. And this week, the way they finally bring him back, he comes out to the ring right before the main event. And he cuts a promo about how WWE Evolution is historic. And Shane gives all the women of the past and present a round of applause. And then he notes that the World Cup winner will be. So he glances right over that. And goes right to the World Cup in Saudi Arabia and says that the winner notes that the World Cup winner will know what? Oh, will know that they are the best in the world, and he says that the winner will come from the SmackDown side.
I do enjoy the World Cup
disagree.
idea.
It's interesting
It's like a king
until
of the
you
ring.
look at it.
It's a Saudi Arabian King of the Ring.
Yes, I don't like that it's called the World Cup. Everyone in there is American.
Yeah.
Even Rey Mysterio, who
California.
yes, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Shinsuke versus Rey, we'll get someone outside the U.S." Nope, 619 is literally the area code in San Diego. That's his whole gimmick.
Here's how you fix Shane's promo. Reverse the order.
Yes, agreed. Although
But
I
word
will
it-
say Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton was the next match, and those two are both in the World Cup. So I do get that.
I get it. Reverse the order.
The best part of his promo, you'll like this, because he kept saying the best in the world, because that's the whole tagline for the World Cup, a CM Punk chant broke out.
Oh no.
Shane says,
no.
Shane hears that, and he kind of pauses, and then he goes, he goes, I don't believe he's in the tournament. Fantastic.
Oof.
Yeah, and then he said, like I said, he says that someone from the blue brand is going to win.
That's hilarious.
It was really good.
I miss him.
So apparently I don't think they touched on this before, but the World Cup is going to be, so it's a Raw bracket and a SmackDown bracket. So it's 2 matches from Raw, 2 matches from SmackDown. Winners face each other. Winners face.
All in the same.
Apparently, yeah, it's all in the same night. So it's interesting.
I'm glad
Now,
that's how they did it.
tonight
That's how King of the Ring used to be.
we had Ray versus Miz, and we had Jeff versus Randy. All 4 are in the World Cup. Do you think that they're going to do those matches again for the first round? Or do you think they'll switch it up and do like
You would hope.
I would assume Randy versus Miz, Jeff versus Ray? No, other way around. Ray versus Randy, first round. Miz versus Jeff. And then you do Jeff versus
And then if Randy beats
Mysterio.
Ray, he can continue on with his character arc.
True. I think it's going to be, in the final, I think it's going to be Ray versus Kurt.
Yeah.
Because nostalgia.
Ugh.
I know. And guess who's probably going to win?
Kurt.
God.
I'm excited for him to go back in the ring.
Yes.
But that
'Cause
little
he
promo package that he put together on
God.
Raw was
Terrible.
like, you're
Terribly
admitting you're
scripted.
old.
Terribly scripted. Terribly performed.
When you can't do all the things that you used to be able to do in the ring, it's a hard adjustment period. Yeah, but why'd you say that? Why did you just weaken yourself to everybody watching?
Yeah. Yeah. So
I know you can still do a lot of the things you used to be able to do in the ring. I watched you do it in TNA.
and WCPW.
Or Impact
That's
or
where I watched
whatever.
it. It's Impact now. So then Shane goes, all right, here's our main event. And then Randy and Jeff comes out. I do like that they did this later in the show and not to open the show. Because if it would have been just Shane coming out to open the show, I would have been pissed. Because I hate authority figures coming out to start the show. It's stupid.
There was a house show where Teddy Long opened in Stevens Point when I was in 6th grade.
See, now that's okay. Weekly television, though.
That's fair.
It gets old.
I was just ecstatic to see tag team match player.
Teddy was on SmackDown 1000 for like a second.
Did he just do his
It was
little
literally
shoulder
Paige.
thing?
It was Paige in the back room,
little turtle?
and then Vicky came in,
No.
and then Teddy came in, did his dance, and then everyone does his dance, and then this was actually the best part of it. Dude comes in, you know who it is. He just stands there and he points.
Oh, Simmons?
It was no.
No?
It was John Laurinaitis. He's just standing there in his white and blue suit, just pointing. And then Vicky got, excuse me, and then the segment ended.
Oh, God.
It was pretty great, though.
They took way too long to get rid of Vicky Guerrero.
Yes. But anyway, we had Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. I don't know. I guess this was like I said, main event focusing on Crown Jewel, not Evolution. Stupid. Basically giving away a potential.
Alexa Bliss even on Raw this week?
No, she's reportedly injured, and reportedly won't even make Evolution.
Oh.
So Alicia Fox will be Mickey's tag team partner. I know. Terrible. That's just bad luck.
Alicia Fox.
Alicia is terrible. She's absolutely awful.
She half
everything
does her
she does.
character.
Half.
She's like, crazy. And then she immediately goes back to who she probably is as a person and is like, oh, I have to act crazy again.
And
just
she's-
screams.
She's just flat out terrible in the ring.
The whole segment was awful. I'm sure you talked about it yesterday, but
Yeah. No, you want to know the worst thing? The best selling in that segment was Lita and Trish. When Lita and Trish got thrown into stuff, it was really good selling. It looked good.
when Mickey ran into the ladder or the wall and
Yeah,
the ladder,
that
whatever
didn't
it
look good.
was, she stopped and was like, I'm going to slowly fall down.
Yeah, both her and Alicia, just the selling for both of them was terrible. I'm not looking forward to that match at all.
I'm surprised Alicia still works there.
Yes, me too. I wouldn't be surprised if she's part of spring cleaning. We'll see.
It's my least favorite time of year.
So Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton is what you would expect out of a heel Randy Orton match. You know, he
slow pace,
exactly, trying to pick apart his opponent. He eventually, so Orton was down on the outside, and Jeff tried to do a swanton off the apron. Jeff ran out of the way, or Orton rolled out of the way. So then Orton continued the attack on the outside, back suplexing Hardy onto the announce desk. Orton then brought Hardy back into the ring, gets a near fall. Orton goes for Hardy's ear again, brings back that spot, which is it's cool, but it's overdone now.
Yeah.
Like it was good once or twice. It's not good if you keep doing it.
It's not an every time spot.
Hardy
Just doing it like get his 2K rating to 5 stars.
Hardy fires up and strings together a flurry, blah, 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 culminating in a leg drop onto Orton's groin, which I don't understand how that move's not a leg drop. Whatever. Yeah, they do this. Whisper in the wind, Orton kicks out. Hardy lands the twist of fate. Hardy goes to the top, blah, blah, blah. The match ended with Hardy going for a twist of fate, spun around RKO. Really good finish.
Okay.
But yeah, just clean. Randy Orton wins. So my question, why have both Miz and Hardy lose clean to other people in the tournament right before the tournament? Like,
if there's still another week, right?
Yes.
Heat. Literally, I just beat you. What makes you think you're going to win the tournament?
Well, I have Miz lose to Ray. That one doesn't.
Because Ray's fresh.
Yeah. See, that just makes me think, well, the Ray's going to go on. Randy's going to go on.
Does Ray look good at least?
Yes, Ray looks really good. Ray looks fantastic. He looks back to his former self, honestly.
I mean.
But yeah, I don't know. This show is interesting. They had Rusev versus Aiden English on this show. And Aiden tapped out to the Accolade.
Yeah.
Basically feud over.
Yep.
Stupid. Stupid. Big Show's part of the Big Show's part of the bar.
Why?
He turned heel last week on 1000.
And he's okay, whatever.
Yep. And that's the confusing part of that feud. The heels even the odds. Like it's so confusing. I don't get it.
Sounds like SmackDown needs a week of flip-flop.
So we can take this time. We'll wrap it up. I didn't quote you yesterday on Raw's show because I forgot.
Yeah,
so
I was
you can now give your Roman Reigns piece. Yeah.
So like my biggest thing on it is that like I was never a huge Roman Reigns fan. Just kind of booked down my throat, and I was like, stop it.
Me too.
But you never ever want to see any person go down for something that's completely out of their control. It's just very unfortunate to see, and I hope he gets better. I'd rather be disappointed seeing him every week than not see him and just feel a huge presence lost. That said, I think Raw did an excellent job at reestablishing its entire roster to mix it up and have it still be something. I just really hope he gets better. Leukemia I looked it up, it's pretty scary. Like the first time,
50%.
Second time, you have like 5 years. It's scary, and I really hope he gets better. And that, I don't know. Edge was a perfect heel, and I hated him.
Oh.
But when he came out in tears and had to retire,
yeah.
Or when Daniel Bryan had to do it.
I was just gonna say Daniel Bryan
Because
it's the same situation with Roman. I didn't like the character.
To see people
Right.
not like this,
Right.
and I get scared every time I see Taker in the ring now, because yes, he's looking better and he's in good shape and everything.
Scared
All
to
his
see
surgeries. It's just that know your limits.
Mm-hmm.
I think at a certain age, Ric Flair had to go through it. Hulk Hogan had to go through it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still kind of did it afterwards a little bit, but just kind of know your limits. Or another big scary moment was when King had his heart attack on Raw.
Yeah.
There's just
that was big.
things that happen. Everyone's a person. Don't wish ill upon people. I've seen a lot of
Absolutely
people go,
never.
good, I don't have to see him on Raw anymore.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
No.
It's a scary thing. He has a family. Everyone has something.
Yeah. Final question to wrap up the show. What match are you most looking forward to for Evolution this weekend? These are all of them right here. All 7.
Honestly, it's going to be the Baszler and Kairi Sane one. Because at the last NXT TakeOver, it was phenomenal. And I really think it's going to steal the show.
Those two
compared
wrestlers are
to
fantastic, yeah.
everything else on the main roster. It's going to be exciting to see Trish and Lita back, but honestly, I feel like it's just going to be a gimmick match
And you know what's unfortunately going to suck? Becky versus Charlotte. Because it's a last woman standing match. I can never get into last man standing matches.
Really?
The ending is so stupid. You have to sit there and wait for 10 seconds. You can't have a sudden finish.
I mean, I didn't enjoy.
Even Ciampa Gargano wasn't that good.
I loved it.
It was a good match.
I loved it.
It was a really good
They
match.
ended
but
it
the
perfectly.
Ending, yeah, that's the best ending you can get out of it, though.
Yeah.
That's the best. Like,
I hated when Roman and Big Show did theirs, and Roman just threw tables on Big Show.
do you remember Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio?
No.
And Del Rio duct taped Big Show's feet to the bottom rope.
Oh.
So he couldn't stand up for the 10 count.
That's hilarious.
I don't like the last man standing matches.
They can be done right, but if they're not, they're bad.
And like I said earlier, creative doesn't care about evolution, so it probably won't be done right. Anyway.
I could see it being done well.
Yes. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you want to know what Connor and I think is going to happen at WWE Evolution, you can check out our YouTube channel where this show is also on every week. So thank you guys again for listening. Thanks, Tom, for jumping in, even though you're late. Show was too sweet. Thanks, guys. See you next week for the Raw show.